This page is the front cover of the official Nintendo magazine, yeah, the proper one for the N64 back in the day. Blimey, look at that big Mario right in your face. They're hyping up his return in 3 new N64 hits. Wonder what they were on about. Probably Super Mario 64 still being amazing, and maybe talking about Mario Kart 64 and Norse. Possibly Mario Party was newish then. Anyway, big splash for Mario as always. Was it? Down in the corner they've got Link from Zelda, Legend of Zelda, hard stuff sussed, must be tips for Ocarina of Time, which everyone was still banging on about, rightly so, absolute classic. They're also plugging loads of other games, like Turok 2, XG2, Rogue Squadron, Rally 99, and South Park. Bit of a mixed bag there, you got your shooters, racers, and then South Park, which was Gen 2. Well, South Park on the N64. Interesting. Gen 2. Then there's something about Michael Owen and First Play and Jet Force Gemini new shots. Looks like they're previewing upcoming games and maybe talking about football games with Michael Owen, and they're giving away free giant posters. Who didn't love a good poster back then? All for £2.95. Great value they reckon. Standard mag cover fare really. Promising news, game exclusives, guides, tested games and all that. Good times. The next page is a full-on advert for Star Wars. Rogue Squadron. Remember that one? Blimey, it was pretty impressive at the time. Proper Star Wars dogfights on your telly. Big swing right in your face. TIE fighters getting blown up. The works. Rely on your instinct, they're saying, which is fair enough. You needed quick reactions for that game. And it's got the Nintendo 64 logo splashed all over it. Plus mentioning the expansion pack. Remember that? They were always pushing that thing, claiming it made everything feel everything or something daft. Still, Rogue Squadron was a decent game, especially if you were a Star Wars fan. This page is all about why you should be buying Nintendo magazine, no surprises there. Here's why we've always been the UK's biggest selling Nintendo 64 and Nintendo mag. It shouts at you in big letters like we're all dummies. Then it goes on about 6 promises we keep every issue. Bit dramatic, innit? Basically they're saying you'll read about new N64 stuff first, see real screenshots, that the mag is easy to understand, you'll get tips and cheats, you can trust them, yeah right, and it's not worth buying other mags. Cheeky sods. Below that there's a big photo of what looks like the magazine team, all grinning and giving thumbs up. They've even got names slapped under their mugs like we're meant to know who they all are. Alex C, Alex F, Tim, Jason, Rory, Simon, Dave and Sean. Team Nintendo they're calling themselves. Fair enough, they probably know their Mario from their Zelda. Jesha. Then there's a section called Get in Touch with their address, phone numbers, all that jazz. Old school. Before everyone was online. They even say, can't find the mag in the shops. Call Lorraine Russell. Imagine phoning someone up just to find a magazine. Times have changed. Oh, and there's a picture of the magazine itself. The cover has Mario on it, saying, Mario smashes back in 3 new N64 hits. Always with the Mario, weren't they? Never wrong to put Mario on the front cover. This Nintendo official magazine highlights upcoming games. The cover story focuses on Super Smash Bros., claiming a world's first look, and hyping the party brawler. A game news section previews a variety of titles, including California Speed, Carmageddon, Mario Golf, and Jet Force Gemini, across various genres for both Nintendo 64 and Game Boy Color. Additional features include previews of Michael Owen's Soccer on page 16 and a Formula One racing game on page 80, likely related to the previously listed Monaco Grand Prix. The magazine aims to grab readers' attention by showcasing a wide range of new releases and exclusive information. This magazine page is packed with content typical of the era. The reviews section highlights new game releases, including Mario Party, All-Star Tennis, Penny Racers, and Total Test. To the right, Blagfest announces prize giveaways, like Buck Bumblebags, Duke Nukem toys, and Star Wars merchandise. Game guides offer tips for Turok 2, Legend of Zelda, and V-Rally Edition 99. Further down, official tips provide cheat codes, while your tips and your scores sections engage the community. Club Mario features fan mail, and free posters are advertised. The page is a diverse mix of reviews, giveaways, guides, and community content, attempting to appeal to a wide audience. This page screams Super Smash Bros., doesn't it? Big, bold letters and a chaotic mashup of Nintendo characters all scrapping. You've got everyone from the pink blob Kirby doing his usual inhaling thing, to Mario looking like he's about to wallop someone. Then there's Fox McCloud looking a bit smug, Yoshi getting ready to gobble you up, Donkey Kong with a proper grimace, and Pikachu sparking with electricity as usual. Oh, and Link's there too, looking a bit serious as always. It's all done up like a comic book strip with those impact words like smash, zap, bomb, wham, giving it that proper punchy feel. Classic N64 era hype this, promising all the fighters and secrets sussed out. Probably a first glimpse at the game in action before it properly landed in the shops. You know how they did things back then. Given the other stuff in the mag like the game guides and tips, this page is likely setting up a big feature on Smash Bros, maybe even some early moves lists or character breakdowns to get us all ready to rumble. Good times, good times. This article previews Smash Bros, a 3D beat-em-up slated for release in mid-1999 on the N64. The game features 8 iconic Nintendo characters battling it out. The article highlights familiar faces like Mario, Donkey Kong, Kirby, Samus, Fox McCloud, Link, Yoshi, and Pikachu. The text emphasizes the diverse gameplay, showcasing character abilities, and the variety of stages, including familiar locations like Yoshi's Island and Hyrule Castle. The article hypes the game's premise, focusing on the excitement of a Nintendo-themed fighting game and the challenge of determining the toughest Nintendo warrior. This page is all about Big Game Smash Bros, or just Smash Bros as we call it, on the N64. It's a guide on how to play and win, for those who might be a bit slow on the uptake, eh? The page starts with how to win, which is pretty obvious. Smack your mates about until they fly off the screen. They explain the damage meter, which is a bit of a novelty at the time. The higher the percentage, the easier you are to launch. Then there's advice about picking your fighter, with modes like training to learn moves, a one-player mode to unlock secrets, probably a hidden character, knowing Nintendo, and then 2 and 4-player modes for proper scraps with your mates. Play Your Way is all about customizing the matches, choosing timers, difficulty, and live stock as they call it. Finally, Wacky Worlds showcases the levels, Planet Zebes with rising lava like in Metroid, and Yoshi's Island with those clouds that vanish. Classic Nintendo level design, bit of platforming while you're beating each other up. Clever stuff. Plenty of screenshots of Donkey Kong, Mario, Link, and Yoshi battling it out on these stages to illustrate the points. It's a decent overview for anyone looking forward to getting stuck into this fighter. This page is still banging on about Smash Bros, moves on from how to play to showing off all the characters you can pick. It's called the All-Stars, and they aren't wrong there. It's a proper Nintendo mashup. Gorillaz. First up is Mario. Obviously, everyone knows Mario. His greatest hit is Super Mario 64, and his best move is Fireball. Reckons you can frazzle your mates with it. Then there's Donkey Kong, from Donkey Kong Country, with a ground pound move. Apparently you can Quakin' Man with it. Bit cringe that. Link's there from Ocarina of Time. Spinning Sword is his best move. Classic Link. Samus Aran from Super Metroid uses a grappling hook to drain energy. That'll teach 'em, it says. Bit harsh. Toripal, Yoshi from Yoshi's Story, with a tongue swallow move. Charming. Kirby from Kirby's Dream Land, best move is a triple sword swipe. Fox McCloud from Lilac Wars uses a laser gun. Blast away at your opponent with your space shooter. They're really going for it with these descriptions. Last but not least, Pikachu from Pokemon, lightning shock move, a bolt of electricity from the skies. Dramatic stuff. Each character has a Smash rating out of 5 stars too. Looks like everyone's pretty good. It's basically showing off the roster and giving you a taste of what they can do, in case you weren't already sold on the idea of Nintendo characters beating the crap out of each other. Super Smash Bros. Has simple controls, the A button for attacks, the B button for special moves, and the control stick for movement. Players can jump, double jump, run, crouch, and drop through platforms. The Z button defends, and the R button grabs opponents. The game offers single-player modes, where you can team up with a friend against the computer, or engage in chaotic multiplayer battles. The text also highlights famous scenes, showcasing exciting moments like team battles, powerful attacks, and iconic characters like Mario, Link, Donkey Kong, and Fox in action, emphasizing the game's dynamic and fun gameplay. This article focuses on bonus stages and power-ups in Super Smash Bros. The bonus stages include target smashing, platform lighting, and a final stage battle against a huge glove boss with 300 health. Power-ups are key. They feature the Pokeball, which summons Pokemon like Blastoise. Other power-ups include red shells, a wand, fire flower, fan, boom-bombs, lightsaber, and a baseball bat. Screenshots showcase the typical chaotic Smash Bros. Action, with characters like Link and Mario in the mix. Overall, the game appears to deliver fast-paced, enjoyable gameplay. This page is a bit of fun in it. It's a Who's Your Hero quiz all about Super Smash Bros. Looks like they're trying to help you figure out which character to pick from the 6 nom-faves, which I guess is their favorites in the magazine. It's a flowchart thing, you know. Answer yes or no to questions and follow the path. Dorinta. First question is about using weapons versus fists, classic Smash Bros debate really. Then it's about liking to hit from a distance or trap them, and whether you prefer clever fighters over brainless brawlers. It branches out into other questions like if you prefer new Nintendo heroes or classic ones, fighting in outer space or on Planet Nintendo, that sort of thing. Bit random. Then there's questions about being a lone wolf or part of a gang, if you like rock hard headbutts, and if you'd sacrifice a quick jump attack. Madness. And finally, it asks about Street Fighter style moves and whether you'd rather eat bananas or save the world. Proper bonkers questions to decide your Smash Bros hero. It's a bit of light-hearted fun to get you thinking about how you like to play Smash Bros and which character might suit you best from their chosen 6. This quiz guides players towards a Super Smash Bros character based on yes/no questions. Choosing speed and a red hat leads to Mario, a beginner-friendly character. Disagreeing about the hat but prioritizing special skills over all-rounder leads to Link, sword. Or, if you prefer magic and eggs, Yoshi. Choosing a warrior over an all-rounder leads to Donkey Kong, power. Or, with a gun, Fox McCloud. Rejecting slow movement but preferring electricity over brute force results in Pikachu. The quiz is a fun way to highlight diverse playstyles in Smash Bros. This article previews Super Smash Bros. For the N64, focusing on its key features. The After the Fight screen displays player stats like KOs, knockouts, and a ranking score, encouraging competition. Levels are based on classic Nintendo games, with the article referencing the game's visual style and feel similar to Street Fighter Alpha 2. Hidden characters are unlockable, with Captain Falcon from F-Zero X being revealed. The article highlights weapons, specifically the powerful hammer, shown to make Donkey Kong a formidable opponent. The article is very positive, hyping the game as the fight of your life and a potential true Nintendo smasher, promising a full review later. This page is a rather bright advert for Sunny Delight. Remember that stuff? It's got some folks on skateboards, looking like they're about to raid a giant fridge for some Sunny D. Whenever, wherever, reach for the sun, it says. Cheesy tagline for a sugary drink back in the day. Definitely not Nintendo related, just a full-page advert trying to be cool, aiming for the youth market with skateboarding and bright orange colors. Very 90s. This is a magazine preview from around 1999 for Michael Owen's Soccer on the Nintendo 64, developed by Eidos. The preview hypes the game, claiming it's a major new contender against established titles like FIFA 99 and ISS 98. It promises every single move and all the tricks. The game features over 200 teams, various leagues and cup competitions, and all the top Premiership stars. Screenshots show exciting gameplay. The preview highlights game modes, including Quick Start, League, Cup, and Tournament. It aims to present the game as action-packed and fun. Whether the final product delivered on these promises remains to be seen. This page is all about Michael Owen's Soccer, banging on about how good it is, continuing from the last page. They're really pushing this soccer school thing, claiming it'll help you learn the ropes. It's basically a training mode, showing you how to do things like stealing the ball, which is just shoulder barging someone. Apparently you won't get booked for that, good to know. There's also sections on keeping control, tackling, and using the radar at the top of the screen, which is hardly revolutionary stuff, but hey, it's a training mode. They're also making a big deal about the commentary team, says it's got top TV pundits like Peter Brackley and Ray Wilkins, like that's some massive selling point. ISS and FIFA had John Motson and Tony Guber, so I suppose they're trying to compete on that front. Apparently the commentary is brilliant, according to them anyway. Then there's the Dream Teams bit, basically saying you can play as all the Premier League sides, Arsenal, Man United, the usual suspects. And if you're feeling fancy, you can manage international teams and even teams from Italy and Spain. So yeah, loads of teams, standard football game fare really. The screenshots are doing their best to look exciting, showing off some in-game action, tackles and whatnot. Nothing too groundbreaking, but it looks like a decent enough footy game for the N64. This section of the Michael Owen's Soccer Guide focuses on gameplay basics. Pick Your System guides players through pre-match setup, covering team selection, Manchester United or Liverpool, and formation adjustments in the changing room. The guide emphasizes player ratings and individual skills in all the players, using players like Kitson, Dix, and Ferdinand as examples to highlight the importance of team composition based on strengths and weaknesses. Scoring goals provides essential shooting tips, explaining different shot types controlled with the gamepad. The guide covers both basic and more advanced techniques, like the double-tap C tactic when the keeper is out of position. Screenshots illustrate various goal-scoring scenarios, making the guide a beginner-friendly introduction to the game's mechanics. This section of the Michael Owen Soccer Guide focuses on scoring goals. It covers penalties, advising players to aim with the 3D stick and shoot with the B button. For goalkeepers, guess the direction and dive using the stick and B. The guide then moves to headers and volleys, explaining how to volley by pressing a button as the ball arrives. Headers involve a double tap of B for power or holding it down for a pass. Finally, it discusses free kicks. Use an arrow to aim, and pump the circle pad for distance. The guide also mentions corner kicks and positioning players. These are basic tips for beginners, emphasizing aiming and button presses for different scoring scenarios. This section of Michael Owen's Soccer Guide covers general gameplay tips. It starts with basic passing techniques like standard passes, a button, and through balls, D-pad. Football Magic introduces tricks like the shimmy, R button plus D-pad, and a 360 spin, R button plus centering D-pad. The guide also mentions playing in different weather conditions, which impact ball behavior. 1-2 passes encourage quick returns, a button just before receiving the ball. Bend the ball teaches aftertouch on shots using Z or C buttons for curving free kicks. A We Think box suggests the game is promising, with smart tricks, but a full review is pending on the finished product. This page then is a bit of an advert for NatWest Bank, trying to get the young'uns to open an account. Time you started a meaningful relationship, it asks. Bit cheeky, isn't it? As if opening a bank account is some kind of deep and meaningful thing. They're pushing their Card Plus account and dangling a £10 sports voucher as bait. You also get your standard bank perks like cash machine access and a measly 4% interest, plus some action pack full of useful info, whatever that is. It's got logos for JJB Sports and Sports Division at the bottom too, so clearly aiming for the sporty types. You know, the ones who might actually use a sports voucher. There are blurry pictures of young people all over the place, with names scrawled over them like Patty, Lara, Rachel, Jane, Vicky. Just trying to look cool and relatable, I suppose. Nothing particularly game-related here. Just standard bank advert fluff, really. Move along, nothing to see here unless you desperately needed a bank account back then, and a tenner off some tracky bottoms. This section reviews Nintendo 64 games, using a scoring system from real rubbish to amazing game you must play, with an awesome award for scores over 90%. The reviews cover 3 games. Mario Party, page 22, described as a promising return for Mario and friends. All-Star Tennis 99, page 34, a seemingly basic tennis game. And Penny Racers, page 36, a mini motor racing title. The section includes game info for Mario Party, listing its price at £44.99, release date of March 19th, and multiplayer/memory pack features. The review notes the absence of Rumble Pack support. A We Said box highlights Nintendo and Hudson's positive anticipation for Mario Party, calling it a stonker. This page is a review for Mario Party on the Nintendo 64. Right then, Mario Party, eh? They're saying it's party time, and who better to host than Mario? Bit obvious, isn't it? The page has got big, bold Mario Party text at the top, so you can't miss it. There's a bunch of the usual suspects all over the page. Mario, obviously, Peach, Yoshi, and even Donkey Kong is making an appearance looking a bit daft as usual. They're all posing about like they're having a whale of a time in this party game. Down at the bottom in small print it asks, who's the biggest Nintendo superstar? Bit of a rhetorical question really, isn't it? It says to join Mario and his pals in the party of the year to find out. Sounds like typical Nintendo marketing guff, to be honest, but Mario Party was a pretty big deal back then. It was the game everyone was going to be playing with their mates, arguing over minigames, and getting blisters from spinning those control sticks. Good times, mostly. It's marked as page 23 at the bottom, and there's the Nintendo logo as well. Looks like a pretty standard review page setup for this magazine. Mario Party for the N64 is presented as a party game where 6 players, including Mario, compete on 6 boards, aiming to collect power stars through board game play and over 60 minigames. Players gather coins, buy stars from Toad, or steal them from others. The game begins in Mushroom Village, a hub with various features like a bank, warp pipe, option settings, shops for items, and minigame access. Gameplay involves dice rolls to move around boards with colored squares and interactions with familiar Mario characters. Strategies like jump to stop the dice and using thwomps are also highlighted. The review praises the game's graphics, variety, and character designs, calling it another N64 masterpiece. This review covers the N64 game, Mario Party. Players choose from familiar characters like Mario, Peach, Donkey Kong, Luigi, Wario, and Yoshi. The gameplay involves rolling dice to move around a board from the mini-game house, with the highest roll going first. The game features a simple board with O-ring, spaces that trigger events, such as rolling boulders that players must avoid. Mini-games can be played separately after each round. The review highlights the game's fun, chaotic nature, typical of the Mario Party series, and its suitability for multiplayer. The reviewer implies it was a hit back in the day, potentially another N64 masterpiece. Rainbow Castle in Mario Party is a straightforward N64 board game. Players navigate blue spaces for coins which double later. A Koopa's Game of Chance offers random swaps of stars and coins, while minigame spaces provide extra coins. Mushroom spaces involve dice-based gambles. Junctions allow path choices, sometimes requiring coin payments. Boo steals coins or stars. The board features minigames like Limbo Dance and Teetering Towers. It's considered a standard Mario Party board, offering a blend of luck and strategy. While not the most thrilling, it promises chaotic fun and classic Mario Party experiences, including potential arguments over stolen stars. Rainbow Castle in Mario Party features various spaces with unique effects. The Cacad space is a gamble, potentially offering a star from Toad or punishment from Bowser. Bowser himself demands 40 coins for a fake star, or your entire stash. Toad's space allows star purchases for 20 coins. Pedal Power likely involves a quick-fingered minigame. Red spaces deduct 3 coins and change the minigame type, while Whack-A-Plant offers coins for hitting piranha plants. Koopa Trooper gives 10 coins for passing doubling late game. Beware the red Bowser space. It's trouble. The board combines luck and Bowser's mischievous schemes. This magazine review of Mario Party for the N64 highlights the fun of its multiplayer gameplay. The review starts with the Yoshi's Tropical Island board, noting the challenges posed by thwomps. The gameplay is simple, using the 3D stick and a button for movement, with the R button offering a zoomed-out board view. The review then describes the minigames. Ultimate Warrior promises chaotic fun, with players using mallets. After each turn, the game switches to a minigame. There are free-for-all, 2-on-2, and 3-on-1 options, with over 60 minigames in total. Examples include Mario Bandstand and Castaways for 4-player games, and Handcart Havoc and Bombsketball for 2-on-2. The reviewer seems to enjoy the variety and chaotic nature of the game. This magazine page continues a review of Mario Party, starting with the Peach's Birthday Cake board, highlighting potential Bowser encounters. The review praises the game's charm, including memorable music and character voice lines, while noting the dangers of Bowser spaces. Further sections discuss the game's audio and introduce various minigames. 1 vs 3 features Bowl Over and Paddle Battle. Double Money highlights Koopa Troopa's double coins and Boo's star stealing. Finally, Skateboard Scraper is described as a button-mashing minigame. The overall impression is a chaotic and entertaining multiplayer experience, typical of the Mario Party series. Baller. The magazine review of Mario Party continues, highlighting 2 more boards. Wario's Battle Canyon is described as chaotic, featuring bow-bombs that launch players, and Wario's supposed stinking cheat tactics. Scoring is explained, with power stars awarded to coin leaders and those landing on John spaces. A light play table from Mario's Rainbow Castle shows Yoshi leading, with Luigi declared the superstar. Luigi's engine room is then discussed, with moving iron walls that block paths. The review suggests longer routes may be necessary. The article also mentions Wario's close proximity to a power star, using the term Fat Boy. The boards are becoming increasingly complicated, keeping the gameplay interesting, just like the minigames discussed in the previous page. This section reviews Donkey's Jungle Adventure, a board with slab beasts that block paths requiring coin payments. Landing on a question mark triggers a rolling boulder. The review then covers the Change the Game feature, where players use earned coins to buy items at the auction house between games. Items include blocks that affect dice rolls, plus blocks for extra coins, event blocks with random outcomes, slow blocks limiting movement, speed blocks for fast travel, minus blocks to deduct coins, and warp blocks to swap positions. The added complexity is praised for keeping the game interesting. The review concludes with a hint at future content in the magazine, hinting at Luigi and Mario Golf news. This N64 Mario Party page debates single-player versus multiplayer. Single player is deemed okay initially, but quickly becomes stale, with the computer perceived as cheating. Screenshots show typical single-player gameplay, with the focus on the player versus the AI. The page strongly advocates for multiplayer, dubbing it the definitive experience. It highlights the fun of playing with friends and how the minigames are significantly more enjoyable in a social setting. Screenshots showcase character selection, game endings, and the drama of Power Star acquisition, illustrating the dynamic of a multiplayer match. The article concludes that Mario Party truly shines when played with friends, highlighting the inherent fun of the social gaming experience. This Mario Party review mimics a play-by-play experience, detailing key moments. The first turn sees Mario losing coins on a red space. Minigames like 2-on-2, similar to Mario 64's bobsled, provide chaotic fun. Later turns show Mario buying a star, a Donkey Kong solo minigame, and Wario taking the lead. Turn 10 features a coin-collecting minigame and Luigi securing a star. Bowser's Space on turn 13 results in a coin-losing minigame. The review praises the game's competitiveness and fun minigames, best enjoyed with friends. It awards an 85% score. The review even notes the players' roles, like Steve as Mario, adding to the roleplay feel. This page reviews All-Star Tennis 99 for the N64, and blimey, £44.99 was a fair whack for a game back then, released in March apparently. It's multiplayer compatible but no Rumble Pack support. A bit of a shame that. They reckon it's perfect for tennis fans wanting a realistic game. The review talks about it having everything a tennis fan would want, with single matches, tournaments, doubles, and you can even travel to virtual countries playing on different surfaces like clay and grass. That's a bit of alright. There's a section called Smashing Fun highlighting 3 gameplay modes. Smash Tennis for the proper realistic experience, Arcade Mode to become a pro, and then Bomb Tennis, which sounds a bit daft. Bombs in tennis? Crikey. Apparently you've got to return the ball otherwise, boom! The looks enough section says the shots look realistic, but it's not exactly edge of your seat stuff. Then there's a take your shots bit giving basic tips on ground shots and lobs. Proper tennis for beginners guide that is. Screenshots dotted about show the game, standard N64 tennis graphics really. Overall, sounds like a decent enough tennis game for the N64 if you were really desperate for one. Not exactly a classic though, is it? All-Star Tennis 99 features playable pros like Krajicek, Filipousis, Changeng, Martinez and Novotny, though notable players like Henman and Rusetsky are absent. The game includes crowd reactions and umpire calls. Slow-motion replays are available for line calls, along with humorous speech bubbles. Special trick shots like topspin, backspin, and swerve are included, indicated by a glowing racket. The reviewer suggests keeping matches short. Ultimately, the game receives a 70% score, with the review citing decent graphics and realistic shots, but criticizing a lack of excitement and engaging gameplay. Penny Racers for N64 attempts to compete with Mario Kart 64 and Diddy Kong Racing, focusing on a micro-machine style with power-ups and fast-paced action. Players can use speed boosts from dash plates and mines in races. The game features 13 vehicles, which can be upgraded through gameplay. Finishing in the top 3 allows players to steal skills and earn parts. Example screenshots show a car select screen and a track selection, including a harbor level. The review critiques the basic graphics, comparing them to Super NES visuals. It notes the £39.99 price tag is steep, and that the game didn't go down too well. Despite these criticisms, someone completed all aspects of the game, implying that some enjoyment was derived from it. Penny Racers for the N64 is a disappointing kart racer. While the power-ups, including landmine, turbo, smoke and cannon, are decent, the game falters elsewhere. Handling is described as a nightmare, with poor speed and difficult controls that lead to unwanted car rolls. The sound design is also criticized, featuring a weak horn, underwhelming engine noises, and dull explosions. The game does offer a track creation mode, with 200 pieces, and the ability to save creations. However, single-player and one-on-one racing are deemed boring, with multiplayer being the only potential source of enjoyment. The short single-player experience and slow start further detract from the game. With a final score of 68% and a verdict to steer clear, Penny Racers is recommended only for those desperate for a kart racing experience. This page is a subscription advert for the Nintendo official magazine, pushing their direct subscription service. They're shouting about getting 3 free mags as a headline grabber, saying you save money by subscribing directly. They're making a deal of it, saying you buy a year and get 12 magazines but only pay for 9, saving you a whole £8.85. Every little helps, right? Plus, they'll deliver it to your door for free. They're listing a load of reasons why you should subscribe, like being first for N64 news, the best reviews, more tips, free game guides and all that jazz. They even claim to be the UK's biggest selling N64 magazine, which, well, probably true back then. There's also some guff about winning £150 of Nintendo kit every month if you subscribe, thanks to their pals at Game Master. Classic magazine prize draw stuff to tempt you in. The picture is pretty standard magazine fare, Mario and Donkey Kong mascots in costume, a bit cheesy even back then, yo. Down at the bottom, it's all the boring subscription form stuff, ticking boxes for UK or airmail, filling in your details, and how you want to pay: check, postal order, or debit card, the usual options. They've got a hotline number for credit card orders and back issues, and an offer code, F1U, to quote. Offer closes the 19th of March 99, so definitely from the late 90s. Standard stuff for getting you to sign up to the mag. The Total Test section, guided by Yoshi, is the core of the magazine, focusing on Nintendo game reviews and hardware. Updated monthly, it promises to cover everything Nintendo related. Sections include all new gear, Game Boy updates, blockbuster rental charts, a Nintendo phone book, sales charts, and a famous Five's Top 5. N64 Magic highlights standout titles. A scoring system is explained. 0 to 100, with an awesome award for scores over 90%. Adjustments are made to scores for older games. A review of a new Mario Party game is teased. A review of Rogue Squadron is coming up. The section appears to offer a comprehensive overview for N64 gamers. This magazine section, 64 Magic, reviews several Nintendo 64 games. All-Star Baseball 98 receives a high score of 90%, while Biofreaks gets 70%. Chopper Attack scores 79%, deemed easy. Clay Fighter 63 1/3 fares poorly at 25%. Aero Fighters Assault and Cruisin' USA both score 54%. Bomberman 64 shines with 88%. And Bomberman Hero earns 72%. Aero Gauge gets 41%, Airborder 64 gets 69%, and Buck Bumble gets 84%. The beloved Banjo-Kazooie receives a 96%. Buster Move 2 gets 81%, while Buster Move 3 scores 85%. Chameleon Twist ends with 68%. The Extras section advertises the expansion pack, a cleaning kit, a SCART cable, and a controller extension cable. This text reviews various Nintendo 64 accessories and games. The article highlights different Rumble packs, including the basic Jolt pack, the Advanced pack, and various models from Shockwave, Blaze, Performance, LMP, and even a rechargeable one. The game reviews offer a range of scores. Cruisin' World and Duke Nukem 64 receive 83% and 86% respectively. FIFA 99 scores a high 90%, while Fighter's Destiny gets 85%. Doom 64, Extreme G, and Gex 64 each garner 78% and 80% each. However, Gasp struggles with a 68%. Dual Heroes, F1 Pole Position, and Forsaken fare poorly, with scores of 39%, 62% and 59% respectively. F-Zero X and Diddy Kong Racing receive top marks at 92%, while F1 World Grand Prix gets 87%. FIFA 64 struggles with a 40%. The article concludes with FIFA 98 RTWC scoring 89%, while emphasizing the diverse quality of the N64 library. Wicked Wheels reviews various N64 racing wheels and games. Wheel options include the well-regarded Race 64 Compact, the affordable V1 racing wheel, and the Thrustmaster Formula Race Pro for serious racers. Other wheels like the V3, Vortex, ASC2, Top Gear, VR F1 Accelerator, and LMP steering wheel are also discussed, with varying features and prices. Game reviews include Glover, 85%, Holy Magic Century, 84%, ISS 98, 93%, Lilat Wars, 91%, VRSS 64 Championship, 76%, VRSS 64 86%, Lamborghini 79%, VRSS 74%, VRSS Lamborghini 74%, VRS 74%, Micro Machine. The games range from classic shooters and sports titles to platformers and racing games. This retro game review section covers N64 and Game Boy titles. On the N64, Mario Kart 64 earns a high 90%, praised for its multiplayer fun. Other N64 reviews include Multi-Racing Championship, 83%, Mystical Ninja, 88%, Nagano Winter Olympics, 98-75%, Mission Impossible, 81%, NASCAR 99, 62%, MK Mythologies, 36%, NBA Courtside, 89%, NBA Hangtime, 75%, Mortal Kombat 4, 90%, NBA Jam 99, 89%, NFL Blitz, 90%. Game Boy reviews include Shanghai Pocket and Power Quest, both receiving scores around 78 to 80%. A Game Boy Gear section highlights a light magnifier. A Numbers section provides phone numbers for various game companies, a throwback to the days of calling for game support. This review covers N64 memory packs and games. Memory packs from various brands like Nintendo, Spectra Video, and Datal are reviewed, with prices ranging from £6.99 to £29.99. Joytech's 1 meg pack is highlighted as a good value pick at £10. The game reviews are dominated by sports titles. NFL Quarterback Club 98 and 99 receive high scores, 90%, with 99 considered the bestest football game on the console. Other sports games like NHL 99 85% and Olympic hockey 81% are also reviewed. Action and other genres are represented by Quake, 85%, Robotron 64, 80%, Rakuga Kids, 79%, and Rampage, 53%. Pilotwings 64 is also reviewed, earning an 84%. Finally, a section called GOM 64 Magic features NFL Blitz, showcasing memorable moments from the arcade-style football game. This is a vintage advertisement from Gameplay, a major UK computer game retailer, showcasing their offerings from the late 90s. The ad heavily promotes Nintendo 64 bundles, featuring iconic titles like Mario 64, Zelda, and Banjo-Kazooie. The selection reflects the N64's popularity, including sports games like FIFA 99 and even Quake. Beyond the games, the ad also highlights essential accessories, like memory cards and rumble packs. There's a section dedicated to Game Boy, with the pocket, camera, and printer. It's a nostalgic look back, complete with Logic 3 carry cases and, of course, a mail order form, a stark contrast to today's digital shopping. The ad is a snapshot of a bygone era of gaming. This page reviews various N64 controllers and games. While acknowledging the official Nintendo controller as the best, it highlights several third-party alternatives. These include the Macapad, good for left-handers and shoot-'em-ups, the SharkPad Pro 64 platformers, the Controller Plus 64 racing and beat-'em-ups, and the Manta Ray and New Gen pads, better than average. Other options include the Competition Pro, Arcade Shark, beat-'em-ups, Trilogy 64, and G64 controller. Game reviews include Rogue Squadron, 90%, Rush 2, 74%, South Park, 90%, Shadows of the Empire, 74%, Silicon Valley, 82%, and Snowboard Kids, 81%. The reviews offer a mixed bag, from the acclaimed Rogue Squadron and South Park, to the less impressive Rush 2 and Shadows of the Empire. This electronics boutique page showcases the top 10 N64 games based on sales, with a discount voucher offered. The list, a reflection of the era, is topped by Star Wars, Rogue Squadron, and The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. Other popular titles include Turok 2, 1080 Snowboarding, and Mario Kart 64. The page includes mini-reviews. Super Mario 64 receives a glowing 92%, while games like Starshot, Tetrisphere, 1080 Snowboarding, Top Gear Rally, Turok, and Top Gear Overdrive also get reviewed with varying scores. A famous 5-hand section mentions several games and elements, followed by a brief note about F-Zero X. The overall content aims to highlight the top-selling games. Total Test Magazine reviews N64 games this month. High scores include Turok, 294%, praised as a top-notch shooter, Zelda, 97%, deemed groundbreaking, and WWF Warzone, and WCW NWO Revenge, both at 90%, for wrestling fans. Rally Edition 99, and World Cup 98 each receive 90% and 91% respectively. Other notable titles include Wave Race 64, 83%, Yoshi's Story and Wii Tricks 88% each, and Wipeout 64, 87%. Lower scores went to Virtual Chess, 64, and Wile Golf, 64% each, and War Gods, 63%. The blockbuster rental chart features Rogue Squadron at the top, followed by Zelda and Turok 2. The magazine encourages reader feedback. This advertisement from the late 90s offered cheat codes and tips for N64, PlayStation, and PC games. The ad, plastered with large yellow letters, promised cheats for over 700 games, and featured manic, Banjo-Kazooie-esque characters, urging readers to call premium rate numbers. The N64 game list included popular titles like Banjo-Kazooie, GoldenEye, and The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. The ad also promoted a competition to win consoles like the PlayStation, Win64, and Dreamcast, along with a copy of Metal Gear Solid. The ad's promise of easy access to game-winning secrets highlights the era's reliance on these services, offering a nostalgic glimpse into the gaming landscape before widespread internet access. This webpage offers official tips, hints, cheats, and a tip service for various Nintendo 64 games. Games covered include All-Star Baseball, Aero Gauge, Cruisin' World, F1 World Grand Prix, Forsaken, ISS 98, Rogue Squadron, San Fran Rush 2, South Park, The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Turok 2, WCWNWO Revenge, and XG2. The site features sections on specific games, such as Zelda, with guides to finding great fairies, and All-Star Baseball, with a cheat code for easier hitting. Turok 2 boasts a first-ever cheat for early access to the nuke. San Fran Rush 2 unlocks content by winning races. The page, though not groundbreaking, offers useful content for young gamers. The next page continues the N64 Tips Bonanza, kicking off with a handy guide to those controller icons. Remember trying to decipher those in a rush? ISS 98 gets some love with a dive-like Genola tip, which is a bit of a laugh, and a bonus heads cheat, which is always a bit of silly fun back in the day. Rogue Squadron gets a first-ever cheat boast, which is stretching it a bit, but hey, unlocking the Millennium Falcon and a TIE Fighter? Can't grumble at that, who didn't want to fly those? Cruisin' World is up next, with a focus on secret cars. It lists a bunch of tracks like Australia, China, Egypt, and gives target times to beat in practice championship to unlock cars. Cars like the Surgeon, School Bus, Grasshopper, the usual wacky stuff for cruising games, all good silly fun. XG2 then gets a mention for Speed Demon cheats, and apparently if you name yourself 2064, you get a faster bike. Simple as that. Lastly, Micro Machines and Wipeout mode are highlighted, again with name entry cheats, to get an overhead view in Micro Machines, and a futuristic flying bike in Wipeout. Standard cheat code fare really, but essential knowledge back then, before the internet was in every home. This text compiles cheat codes and tips for various Nintendo 64 games. Aero Gauge's tip involves achieving a specific time-in-time attack mode. Ocarina of Time rumors suggest an old man transformation after 200+ hours of gameplay. WCW/NWO Revenge unlocks secret characters by completing play modes. F1 World Grand Prix details car setup adjustments to achieve high speeds and unlock a Williams car. 1080 snowboarding suggests easy landings, and GoldenEye features a double grenade launcher cheat. Banjo-Kazooie offers an easy way to beat Boggy. Quake's cheat unlocks a God mode. Mace requires a specific button combination for all fighters. Rogue Squadron unlocks an at-dast bonus level with a password. South Park provides level select and invincibility cheats. Lastly, the text concludes with an advertisement for a magazine call-in service. This advertisement promotes PrizeBuster, a phone-in competition offering tech prizes from the late 90s. Prizes include personal stereos, PlayStations, Nintendo 64s, and TVS. Instant win opportunities offered a chance to win a PlayStation or Nintendo 64. The PlayStation prizes included Tomb Raider 3, Tekken 3, Actua Soccer 3, and Premier Manager 99. Nintendo 64 prizes featured Mission Impossible, F1 World Grand Prix, Turok 2, and Rogue Squadron. A Pentium 2 computer and Championship Manager 3 were also offered. Additional competitions, like Go 4 Goals, and others, offered prizes like TVS, VCRs, PlayStations, stereos, and even pool tables. Smaller prizes included watches, game accessories, and portable music players. The ad's nostalgic appeal lies in the allure of winning sought-after tech items, even if the competitions were a financial gamble. This page features reader-submitted gaming tips. The contest encourages players to submit tips for a chance to win a controller. Tips include playing tunes on the Ocarina of Time ocarina using button combinations, Simpsons theme provided by Jermaine Okoro, finding Mario character Easter eggs in Super Mario 64, Krishna Coronel Daisy, a cheat code for all tracks and cars in V-Rally Edition 99, Rob Pierce, wrestler creation settings for Link, Terminator and Rambo in WWF Warzone, Philip Aston, Andrew Berry, Laurie Jenkins, and a weapon cheat for XG2, Jack Bolton. The page offers a mix of useful and humorous advice, typical of the magazine's style. This retro gaming help section provides tips and tricks for N64 games. Hot Game Help addresses reader questions, including how to unlock tanks in Lylat Wars, navigating a tricky gap in Turok 2, finding chickens in Zelda, Ocarina of Time's Kakariko Village, and secret car codes in Top Gear Overdrive. New Ways to Play suggests unconventional gameplay ideas like Turok 2 seagull shooting. Can You Help? Tackles random questions like uses for sticky-backed plastic and a tricky Banjo-Kazooie puzzle. The page also features a write-in section, encouraging reader submissions for a chance to win a controller, with shout-outs to Luke Wood and Matt Hitchman. Overall, it's a standard N64 tips page, aimed at helping players and encouraging interaction. This page highlights 4 game challenges. 1080 degrees snowboarding demands the fastest deadly fall run, with the tip to use the left route. For 0x challenges players to the quickest time on Silence, Jack Cup, with a boost focused tip. Rogue Squadron seeks the fastest Mos Eisley run, enhanced by the N64 expansion pack. Finally, Zelda, Ocarina of Time features a race against a jogger in Gerudo Valley considered unwinnable. The page then presents results for previous challenges across multiple games. These include top 10 fastest times and scores for Dark Moon Caverns, 1080 degree, Maximum Hits, Lylat Wars, Jungle Track, Top Gear Rally, and Mountain Village, 1080 degree. Several players, including Stuart Richards, John Davies, Nilesh Bundra, Adam Charlton, and Matthew Maudsley, are recognized for their achievements. This late 90s Nintendo-themed page is a blast from the past. It references a Diddy Days Donkey Kong Country segment, a humorous cheat-free zone denouncing cheating in score challenges, and a mega challenge. Centered around GoldenEye 007, players were challenged to quickly kill 50 enemies in the jungle level, submitting screenshots for proof. A hard enough challenge offered a GoldenEye Deathmatch League with a chance to compete in a real-life final at Nom Towers for N64 prizes. Entry instructions included sending in a screenshot of your score. The page listed current contenders, with Rob Pierce leading the pack. The competition had a deadline of March 31, 1999, with a random selection of multiplayer characters and deathmatch location for the final. Disqualification applied for those unable to attend the final, and all decisions were final. This walkthrough focuses on Turok 2, Seeds of Evil for the N64, specifically Level 5, Hive of the Mantids. The level's objectives include destroying queen embryos, disabling the master computer, and defeating the Mantid Queen. The guide also touches upon Level 6, which involves complex tasks like recalibrating power generators and purifying rivers. The walkthrough emphasizes the level size and the need for ample lives and ammo. The guide breaks down the level into steps, detailing how to destroy turrets, navigate teleports, find keys, and flip switches. Additionally, a Help Me, I'm Falling section offers jumping tips, crucial for the era's 3D gaming. Navigating the Mantid Hive in Turok 2 requires a strategic approach. The guide begins by instructing players to follow the red gem path, hit 4 switches to activate a platform, and beware of mantids. The Plasma Fire Mortar, PFM, crucial for dismembering enemies, is found by following the yellow gem path and blasting through walls to find a portal switch in Level 6. The level also features more switch puzzles guarded by big, hairy dudes, requiring players to hit switches in a specific order and utilize a portal switch. The guide recommends paying attention to the portal's location for later use, utilizing flame ammo for mantids, and familiarizing yourself with drone guns and generators is also key to survival. This page is all about getting through Level 6 of Turok 2, Seeds of Evil, specifically nabbing a couple of key items and dealing with those pesky embryo bosses. It's classic N64 guide stuff, breaking down how to get the Eagle Feather, which lets you use the Whisper's Talisman to ride spirits handy for reaching those out-of-the-way spots. Seems like you need to hop onto moving platforms, take an elevator, and splatter some eggs to find a portal switch. Then there's the first embryo, those mantid larvae things, always a pain. The guide suggests going through a swamp, hitting consoles to open passages, and using the shotgun. Flamethrower is the weapon of choice for the queen embryo, apparently, to make crispy duck of it. Charming. Then it moves on to the second embryo, looks like you need to drop off cliffs, use the cerebral bore to deal with soldiers, and then dive into water with Breath of Life to get a satchel charge. Standard Turok 2 fare really, blowing stuff up and navigating tricky platforms. It mentions another save point coming up, which was always welcome in Turok 2. Blimey, that game could be tough if you weren't careful. It also advises stocking up on ammo and health, and maybe visiting a Tumidon. Good advice, you'd be needing all you could get in the Mantid Hive. This walkthrough segment details the Turok 2 Seeds of Evil level culminating in the Mantid Queen boss fight. First, players navigate the third embryo stage, battling mantids, traversing lava pools, and solving platforming challenges. Key actions include activating switches and using weapons like the cerebral bore and flamethrower. The Mantid Queen battle is described as a challenging encounter. The player must constantly move to avoid attacks while targeting specific body parts at various stages of the fight. This includes destroying her forearms with the Shredder or Scorpion, eliminating small mites, and attacking her tail and claws using the Flamethrower or Shredder. Ultimately, players must deal enough damage to defeat the Queen. The walkthrough ends with a defiant message, setting the stage for the Primogen fight. Level 6. The Primogen's Lightship, the final level of Turok 2, presents a tough challenge. The first section, Bring on the Big Guy, emphasizes stealth due to dangerous enemies. The guide advises using the correct weapon for each foe and navigating through a central chamber filled with laser drones and warp areas. Expect biobots and exploding shredder shells. Next, First Generator involves recalibrating 4 power generators, a classic fetch quest. Players must use the Whisper's Talisman to find green crystals and replace them with blue ones. More capacitors requires collecting all remaining capacitors by using fans and moving platforms. The guide offers step-by-step instructions, essential for this challenging level. The walkthrough details the second and third generators in Turok 2. The second generator involves navigating pipes, laser grids, and fans to collect capacitors. Players must use consoles, switches, and the environment to progress, including the cerebral bore and razorwind weapons. The level culminates in reaching the generator and finding a warp. The third generator requires collecting 8 more capacitors. This section features teleporters, more pipes, and laser rooms with tricky jumps. Players must utilize moving platforms, consoles, and switches. The walkthrough hints at a final showdown with Mr. Primogen in the next month's installment. This article from a gaming magazine acts as a guide for Zelda, Ocarina of Time, offering solutions to common challenges. It focuses on item locations, emphasizing the game's hidden secrets. The guide details soft soil locations for planting magic beans, crucial for exploration. Bottle locations are also covered, explaining how to obtain all 4. A walkthrough for young Link's mask trading sequence, culminating in the Mask of Truth, is provided. Finally, it offers a navigation guide for the confusing Lost Woods, complete with a map and tips about enemies. This page would have been invaluable to players lacking internet access. This guide offers tips for early challenges in Ocarina of Time. It covers catching cuckoos at Lon Lon Ranch, navigating Dodongo's cavern, entering Jabu Jabu's belly, and accessing the Fire Temple. Common frustrations like the Cuckoo game and the maze-like dungeons are addressed with reminders and basic strategies. The guide also includes boss tactics for King Dodongo, Baronade, the Zora's Domain Octorok, and Phantom Ganon, focusing on straightforward attack methods. Hints are given for the upcoming issue, teasing tips on adult Link trades, the Bigoron sword, and boss strategies, hinting at defeating Morpha in the Water Temple. Overall, it's a helpful resource for players struggling with early game puzzles and bosses. This page is all about Vrally 99, looks like it's part 3 of their driver's guide, getting into the snowy tracks at last. Remember Vrally? Good bit of kit back in the day, not quite as sim-focused as some, but proper fun arcade racer. They're giving us the lowdown on tackling the snow, saying handbrake is a no on the white stuff, just pump the brakes instead. Good shout actually, handbrake on snow in that game was a recipe for disaster. They've got tips for overtaking too, saying don't be a hero on the bends, wait for a straight bit, sensible stuff, and staying on track when you're bouncing over jumps, because the physics in that game could be a bit, shall we say, enthusiastic. They even recommend a few cars for the snow, the Toyota Corolla for being reliable, the Mitsubishi Lancer, and the Seat Ibiza, each with their own perks for the slippery stuff. Tracks they are talking about are New Zealand, French Alps, and Sweden, the snowy levels as you'd expect. Seems like they are wrapping up their Rally guide with this issue, and they reckon they had part 2 in issue 77 if you missed it. Solid advice for anyone still booting up the N64 for a rally blast on a snowy afternoon. This guide focuses on the Rally 99 stages in New Zealand. Stage 1 offers a single lap with decent roads, encouraging handbraking and using scenery. The guide provides standard arcade racing advice across 6 sections. Stage 2 features 3 foggy laps, emphasizing patient overtaking on narrow tracks. Advice centers on navigating fog and tight corners, with 6 corresponding tips. Stage 3 promises a fast race with straights and S-bends, warning about rocky hillsides. The guide provides straightforward racing line advice across 6 sections. While the advice is basic, it was likely helpful at the time, and the game still holds fond memories for its simple, fun gameplay. This page dives into Rally Edition 99 on the N64. Proper old-school racer, that one. They're giving us the official tips for tackling the French Alps stages. Blimey, they were tricky, weren't they? For Stage 1, they're warning you about loads of hazards and narrow roads. Forget about setting any records, they say. The tips run you through 6 sections, like swinging into corners, gear changes, watching out for warning signs, and navigating those medium bends. Stage 2, apparently a fast mountain track, but they're quick to mention the sharp bends and bumpy bits. 6 more tips here, including getting a good start, gear changes through the village, hairpins, and not overdoing it on the steering. Finally, Stage 3, the mountain trail, is for the final time. Bit dramatic for Rally, isn't it? More advice on quick steering, keeping clear of stone walls, especially on that final bend. Another 6 sections covered, including tunnels, rock walls, sharp corners, and that deceptively easy final bend. So if you were pulling your hair out at Rally back in the day, these official tips might have been a lifesaver. Or maybe you just needed to get better, eh? Rally Edition 99 Sweden stages demand precision. Stage 1 favors a heavy car to manage the snow. Key tips include staying centered on turns, early third gear usage, and bridge awareness. Stage 2 presents night driving challenges. Avoid handbrake use, pump brakes for tight corners, and accelerate aggressively at the start. Stage 3 is the toughest. Focus on easing around the first bend, using 5th gear on easy turns, and braking well before bridges. The goal is to maintain control and use these tips to your advantage. This advertisement, reminiscent of the late 90s, promotes Nintendo 64 deals. Offers include an N64 with Zelda or South Park for £104 and 99p with a free beanie, along with discounts on extra games and pads. It highlights fast delivery, action figures like Link and Ganon and Turok, and a free 1MB memory card. A Wii Swap program for second-hand games is advertised, along with game bundles like 1080 Snowboarding and F-Zero. The ad features a vast list of N64 games, with prices for both new and used UK and US versions. It also showcases a variety of controllers, including official colored pads, wireless options, and third-party alternatives. Overall, the ad captures the essence of the N64 era's game offerings and accessories. This excitement direct mail order ad showcases a nostalgic glimpse into gaming's past. It highlights PlayStation and Dreamcast consoles with classic games, but focuses heavily on 64 accessories. Options include steering wheels for racing games, essential rumble packs for enhanced immersion, and console customization kits. The ad also features Game Boy gear, including the Color Game Boy with a free Zelda keyring, various accessories, and games like Donkey Kong Land. Additionally, there are Nintendo-themed beanies, and some unusual Sakar Gear binoculars and walkie-talkies. This ad is a reminder of a time when buying games and accessories meant sending checks, and it evokes memories of saving up for these cherished items. Club Mario, a magazine letters page, features Simon and Tim answering reader mail. Simon laments South Park's delayed release, while Tolu praises Nintendo's Pepsi Max Mania snowboarding game, predicting increased popularity. Josh anticipates high scores for 1999 games like Zelda. Richard requests a Trilogy 64, and Tim promotes upcoming scary games like Turok 2. Who's the hero? Quiz clues hint at Link from Zelda. Matthew discusses game scores, and Harmander inquires about the Zelda Guide's authorship, with Tim revealing it was written by All Century. Finally, someone complains about the magazine selling out. The page concludes with HMV vouchers for Game Boy Color purchases, offering £5 off consoles and £3 off games, expiring in March 1999. This issue features a reader-submitted Super Mario 64 box design. A U-review section has Mark Wright praising Turok 2, Seeds of Evil with a 96% score. The reader chart is topped by Zelda, with Banjo-Kazooie and GoldenEye following. Reader letters include complaints, praise for Nintendo, and opinions on Banjo vs. Zelda. A Who's the Hero? Quiz points to Link. The Brain Strain quiz tests Nintendo knowledge, and a Name That Game puzzle uses game character clues. Club Mario hosted a launch event for South Park on 64 at Fat Boy's Diner in London, giving 12 readers early access to the game. The event featured burgers, milkshakes, and a reader dressed as chef. A tournament determined the best player, with losers facing a Kenny-esque demise, reflecting the show's humor. Reader reviews were overwhelmingly positive. Darren Murphy praised the multiplayer, comparing it favorably to Bomberman 64, while Cengiz Aziz declared it better than GoldenEye's multiplayer. Ayhan Behek enjoyed the weapons and jokes, and Stephen Moran found it cool and easy to play. The game received high scores, indicating a promising experience for South Park fans. Readers were invited to a launch event for South Park on the N64 at Fat Boy's Diner in London. Attendees played the game and provided reviews. Marco Fortis praised its 3D cartoon feel and Cartman, awarding 98%. Others lauded the sound, gameplay and multiplayer, with scores ranging from 90% to Ricky Beretta's perfect 100%. A Who Killed Kenny competition was held, won by David Phelps, who received N64 games. Everyone received South Park merchandise and a free game copy. The event was a success, filled with positive reviews, competition, and freebies. This article profiles David Jackson, a dedicated Nintendo fan from Manchester. David has transformed his room into a Nintendo shrine, boasting 11 64 games, and drawing Nintendo characters on his cupboard. He's currently obsessed with Ocarina of Time and favors platformers. He chose the N64 over a PlayStation because he preferred its games. Fauntistra. Beyond gaming, David is a Man United fan who enjoys 90s music, like Oasis and Robbie Williams. He received South Park toys for Christmas, and is excited for the N64 game. He's also a fan of GoldenEye. As a reward for showcasing his room, David receives prizes like Turok 2, Banjo-Kazooie, and an expansion pack. The article also invites other Nintendo enthusiasts to submit their rooms. Played to Death reviews Turok 2, Seeds of Evil based on players' experiences. Reviews vary. Some, like Kyle, Rafe, Onda, Jamie and Raphael, enjoyed the game, praising its challenging levels, deathmatch mode, and weapons. Others, such as Omar, found it lost its appeal. Brian found the final boss tough. Jeffrey lost his save data, a common N64 problem. The article also includes a simple Zelda-themed quiz. Ultimate Warrior discusses a custom character contest, with a winner and a composite character. Finally, Mario's Winner features a Turok 2 contest winner who criticizes the N64 for lacking originality. The editor sarcastically lists several original N64 titles in response. Reader letters discuss a Super NES converter, which the editor deems unlikely to sell well. Club Mario's page opens with a quiz, Who's the Hero?, and features reader mail. Jonathan Richardson won a game for his Game Boy camera photo. Grant Jones praised the magazine's game reviews. Richard Kilner and Chris Finlayson also sent letters, the latter about the Dreamcast. Readers wrote about Grey Gunk on N64 control pads, which was identified as Skin. Your Art showcased reader drawings, including Duke Nukem and Castlevania art, and a South Park Mario picture. Mario's Hit List asks reader opinions on Donkey Kong World, Game Boy Color, South Park, and the expansion pack. A preview for My Game Gang Wars is included. Answers are upside down, and staff credits and legal information are at the end. This old competition page, a relic from the N64 era, offers a chance to win various prizes. Buzzing Games is giving away Buck Bumble games and backpacks, testing knowledge of the game's antagonist. Explosive Toys offers Duke Nukem action figures, with a tricky question about the latest game title. The Blagfest itself promotes the prizes, including Rogue Squadron and comics. Bookworm Bonkers features Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Simpsons comics, posing an easy question about Dracula. Finally, Save the Galaxy offers Star Wars, Rogue Squadron, expansion packs, and comics, with a question about R2-D2. entrants needed to send a postcard with the correct competition name. This article reviews racing games for the Nintendo 64 and Game Boy Color. The N64 lineup includes a variety of titles, such as California Speed, Carmageddon, and Racing Simulation Monaco Grand Prix. The Game Boy Color section features Pokémon and 720 Degrees Skateboarding. The main focus is on Racing Simulation Monaco Grand Prix for the N64. The game, developed by Ubisoft, boasts wicked cars, tricky courses, and cool graphics. It offers 16 tracks, 22 cars, single race and season modes, and a time attack mode. The review compares it favorably to F1 World Grand Prix, highlighting its decent content and user-friendly high-up view. While the review acknowledges some trickiness, the game is deemed a solid and worthwhile racing experience. This page showcases Racing Simulation Monaco Grand Prix, pushing it for the N64. It's got a big in-game shot of the race car action taking center stage. Yellow and blue colors really pop out. The tagline at the top goes, "Open her up and go for the flag," and they're calling it one of the most realistic racing sims to roar onto the 64. Coming off the back of the review on the last page, they're really trying to emphasize the realism aspect again and hammering home that it's for the N64. Good to see some love for the racing genre on the console, plenty of options to choose from back then, some better than others mind you. This page delves deeper into Monaco Grand Prix, carrying on from the last page. They're really pushing the simulation angle hard, saying it's not just an arcade racer, and that crashes have consequences. Bits fall off your car apparently. They're showing off the car setup options, which were a big deal back then in racing games, letting you tweak your car's wings and whatnot. There's also a section on different camera views, from driver's seat to a nose cam and a follow view, so you can get your perspective just right. It's all about immersion, they reckon. Right at the bottom they have a "We Think" box, saying it's a fun, fast racer with options to play how you want, and promising a full review next issue. Standard preview stuff really, but it's looking like they're quite keen on this one for the N64. The N64 is getting a few new games. Looney Tunes Space Race is a cartoon racer featuring familiar characters and wacky power-ups. 360 is a futuristic hovercraft racer set in a flooded Earth, expected in June. Turok 3 is coming at Christmas, featuring the Oblivion aliens. A new South Park game is in development, with the same team as previous titles. Top Gear X will be a more futuristic racing experience. Finally, Mortal Kombat Special Forces is a 3D adventure game in the style of Zelda, where players as Jax or Sonya hunt Kano. This page showcases Jet Force Gemini, looks like a new 3D shoot-'em-up from Rare. Those guys could do no wrong back then, eh? It's slated for a June '99 release, so right around the corner. The article sets up the story, classic good versus evil stuff, an evil tyrant called Mizar, causing trouble across the galaxy, and it's up to Jet Force Gemini to sort him out. Apparently, there's a trio of heroes, Juno, Vela, and Lupus. Lupus is a dog who can turn into a tank, which is, well, a bit different, isn't it? They're going to team up and waste the brute, and save the universe as you do. Gameplay-wise, it's said to be alien blasting, puzzle solving, and secret finding. You'll be running around on foot mostly, but they've got jetpacks for Juno and Vela, and Lupus in tank form for certain bits. The screenshots show Vela with some energy weapons, and hopping over electric beams, classic platforming stuff. There's also Juno using a jetpack to get about, and Lupus looking a bit daft but also quite menacing in tank mode, and what looks like some fairly harmless alien creatures. Ow. The We Think section reckons it's still under wraps at Rare, but they're already calling it a classic N64 blast. Bit early to say that, but you know what magazines are like. Looks like there's a review of Penny Racers on page 36 as well, if you're interested in that sort of thing. Vigilante 8, a 3D driving combat game from Activision, is coming to the N64 in summer '99. Players blast enemies in 70s-themed vehicles across diverse locations, battling terrorists. Other N64 news includes 720 Degrees Skateboarding for Game Boy Color, Rally Masters, a new rally game aiming to compete with Top Gear Rally. Bomberman 2, promising more 3D action and multiplayer. F1 World Grand Prix 2, with improved graphics and updated content, and Pokémon Snap moving from the 64DD to cartridge. The author anticipates Vigilante 8 being a funky, cool blast for older gamers. Gauntlet Legends is coming to the Nintendo 64 in autumn 1999, a 3D update to the classic arcade game. Developed by Midway, it features 4-player cooperative gameplay with playable characters including an archer, warrior, Valkyrie, now a Viking goddess, and wizard. Players will explore monster-filled dungeons and face bosses like a dragon, a genie, and a three-headed creature. The magazine anticipates a winning formula, especially with the added 3D visuals and multiplayer. Additionally, the page briefly mentions Carmageddon on the N64, a vicious racing game, where players smash opponents and now mow down zombies for points. Players can even drive a lorry and roll over other racers. This page is a retro gaming marketplace. New Age Consoles offers games for N64, PlayStation, and Dreamcast, with prices upon request, urging customers to call. Titles include classics like Zelda, Metal Gear Solid, and Sonic Adventure. Payment is via check or postal order. Next, the page advertises its own magazine, emphasizing its gaming content and official Nintendo status. CS Console Limited promotes cheat codes and game solutions for N64 games via faxback. Finally, WK Entertainment Direct advertises a wide selection of new and used games and consoles at fantastic prices, offering interest-free credit and a price match guarantee. An ad for the Nintendo magazine is also present, touting its popularity and advertising space. This preview highlights the upcoming 3D adventure game, Tonic Trouble, by Ubisoft, slated for release in March 1999. The game promises a comedic experience, featuring nutty hero Ed, hilarious monsters, and killer vegetables. The story centers on Ed, a clumsy alien delivery guy, whose spilled tonic falls into the wrong hands, specifically those of the villainous Grudge. Grorin Titawa plans to use the tonic to conquer the world. The game features a helpful purple bird that revives Ed. The preview emphasizes the humorous intro movie, showcasing Ed reacting to the tonic, the can's journey, the resulting animal mutations, and Grorin's transformation into a powerful villain. The game is positioned as an adventure relying heavily on humor, leaving the success dependent on the gameplay itself. This article previews gameplay features in the platformer Tonic Trouble. The protagonist, Ed, utilizes more than just running and jumping. He slides down snowy slopes on a metal disc, and his bow tie transforms into wings, allowing him to fly and use air currents. Screenshots depict Ed pursued by enemies, scenes from the intro movie featuring his spaceship, and the snow sliding and flying mechanics. The article also mentions a duster used to swat bugs, and a newspaper man providing clues. The review concludes with a cautiously optimistic assessment. While the game is currently rough, it has the potential to be a humorous and puzzling quest. The reviewer acknowledges the unique mechanics but remains uncertain if it will all come together. This page previews 3 upcoming games. Rat Attack, a 3D catch-em-up from Pure Entertainment, involves trapping mutant rats with scratch cats. The Graystation version arrives in May '99, but the N64 edition boasts extra levels and characters. Described as fast-paced arcade fun, it promises mindless action. Next, a preview of the Pokémon Pocket Guide, Part 3 highlights key characters, before the late '99 UK Game Boy release. Featured a super nerd, Mewtwo, a rare powerful cat-like Pokémon, Chansey, a pink happiness-inducing puffball, and Dugtrio, 3 Diglets combined. Finally, Fist of the Flying Dragon is a 2-in-1 fighter. The first mode is a standard beat-em-up, while the second is a super deformed fighting mode featuring cute, squashed versions of the regular fighters. This page from a gaming magazine heavily promotes a call and win competition. Before the contest, a blurb advertises the children's TV show Express, which features Donkey Kong and is hosted by Roy and Lisa on Fox Kids. The competition offers a plethora of prizes, predominantly video games and accessories. The game selection includes N64 titles like Zelda 64, ISS Pro 98, Banjo-Kazooie and Turok 2, as well as PlayStation games like Metal Gear Solid and Tekken 3. Accessories include a MIDI hi-fi, a Game Boy camera and printer, and a mobile phone, along with consoles like a Nintendo 64, a PlayStation, and a rare white PlayStation, and a PlayStation driving seat. Entrants were likely charged high rates to call the 0906 number to enter. War, Final Assault, a 3D shooter for the N64 from Midway, is set for a mid-1999 release. The game plunges players into the grim setting of the Irkutsk Free Republic, following a failed nuclear strike. Players can choose from 4 characters: Sergeant Gun, Hawk, Jane Doe, and Captain Zhukov. Each has unique abilities and special weapons for single-player and 4-player deathmatch modes. Promising a hardcore experience with loads of blood and wicked weapons, the game features N64-era graphics, including blocky but colorful visuals with explosions. Screenshots hint at gameplay mechanics like bouncing lasers and enemies utilizing steel crates. Despite its attempt at a gritty tone, the game likely offers a standard run-and-gun experience, potentially fun with friends. The page previews 2 upcoming N64 games. Final Assault is a shooter, featuring tank combat to weaken enemies and enter fortresses. The preview praises its potential deathmatch mode, noting its blocky, colorful graphics typical of the era. California Speed is a 3D racer from Midway, described as a sibling to Rush 2. It promises a wide variety of cars and tracks set across the US, with improved handling. The game will feature stunts, including jumps and unique tracks like a futuristic roller coaster. The preview hopes the developers have fixed Rush 2's issues, aiming for a smooth driving experience. This page previews several upcoming N64 games. Mario Golf features Mario characters, and promises wicked graphics and crazy courses, aiming for a fun experience. GT Rally from Midway is aiming for Gran Turismo-level competition, with 10 tracks and 33 cars. In fast news, Resident Evil is confirmed for the N64, alongside Beetle Adventure Racing, and a persistent tease of Top Gun. Nintendo is reportedly outselling PlayStation in Japan, thanks to Pikachu Genkidetsu. The page concludes with mentions of upcoming reviews for Super Smash Bros. And Mario Party, suggesting a focus on Nintendo's offerings. This advertisement, reminiscent of a mail-order catalog from Special Reserve, harks back to the gaming scene of yesteryear. It heavily promotes the Nintendo 64, offering bundles with iconic games like GoldenEye and Mario 64, alongside a comprehensive game list including Zelda, Ocarina of Time and Diddy Kong Racing. Game Boy Color accessories, such as the camera and pocket, are also featured, along with a selection of PlayStation games. Finally, the ad tries to sell a pricey PC, the Max 4DC E400. The ad highlights the era's gaming clubs and a wide selection of merchandise, alongside store locations across the Southeast and Midlands, offering a nostalgic glimpse into the past. The Nintendo official magazine is hyping its next issue as the ultimate N64 resource, promising comprehensive coverage. They highlight Duke Nukem 64, featuring level details and weapons, and WWF Attitude, detailing characters and moves. Reviews include Monaco Grand Prix and Virtual Pool. The magazine also features a total test of every N64 game, and an updated Quake 2 feature with new screenshots. They conclude with their usual cheat code and game guide section. The issue appears packed with content for N64 owners. This page is all about the hype for the next issue, proclaiming itself the saint-selling N64 magazine with some bizarre chem-hour tagline, featuring what looks like a seriously grumpy pigman in a helmet. They're really pushing this issue out on the 20th of March, telling us to go buy it. Bit desperate, lads. Down in the corner, under tips, they've got some snippets hinting at what's inside. Looks like they're still digging into tough bits of games, mentions of finishing bosses and Turok 2 multiplayer classic deathmatch days on the N64, everyone remembers that carnage. And then Rogue Squadron is forced open, which I guess means they've got some tips or secrets for that one too, probably how to unlock all the ship's standard stuff back then. Oh, and they're not forgetting the Game Boy Color either, chucking in a plus Game Boy Color section promising all the shots, info and reviews you need. Because who could resist some pixelated handheld action after blasting aliens on the big screen? And finishing off with a Tints Special Offers Club Mario bit. Probably some mail-in thing for free posters or something, they always had those. So yeah, another issue crammed with N64 goodness and a bit of Game Boy Color on the side, trying to be the saint-selling thing as always. This page celebrates Luigi, Mario's often overlooked brother. Despite being present from the beginning, aiding in Princess Peach's rescue, since the arcade game Mario Bros, he's often in Mario's shadow. Mario Bros involved stopping monsters in a maze of pipes, while Super Mario Bros saw Bowser's first kidnapping of Peach, K-game Mario Bros. The text notes, Luigi's higher jump in Super Mario Bros. 2 and mentions Mario is missing, his only solo game. Luigi found his stride in the N64 era, with Mario Kart 64 and Mario Party. The page firmly denies his presence in Super Mario 64. A greatest hits list includes Mario Kart 64, Mario Party, Mario Bros, Super Mario Kart, and Super Mario Bros. The piece concludes by revealing Luigi's secret unlockable appearance in Super Smash Bros., showcasing his triumphant victory. This page is a full-page advert for Wipeout 64 on the Nintendo 64. Right in your face with that futuristic racing ship looking like it's about to burst out of the page. Classic Wipeout style with the sleek design and the promise of speed. It loudly proclaims 4-player Wipeout only on Nintendo 64, which was a pretty big deal back then, getting your mates round for some multiplayer action. They've slapped a few screenshots in the top corner, showing off the in-game graphics which looked pretty cutting edge for the time, all those smooth textures and fast movement. They are pushing the music angle too, bragging about featuring tunes from Fluke and Propellerheads, which, let's be honest, was absolutely spot on for a futuristic racer like Wipeout. Proper banging tunes to get you in the zone while you're hurtling around those tracks. Wire. And of course, it's got all the N64 badges and logos, Feel Everything slogan, and the little icons telling you it's designed for the controller pack and rumble pack. Rumble pack, that was revolutionary back then, feeling every crash and bump in your hands. Good times. Published by Midway and Psygnosis, solid pedigree for a racing game. Yeah, Wipeout 64, it was a decent addition to the N64 library, a bit different from your Mario Kart, more serious and stylish, if that's your cup of tea. This advertisement promotes the South Park game for the N64, capitalizing on the show's signature humor. The marketing promised a cheeky experience, highlighted by the slogan, "The only game bigger than Cartman's Big Fat A." An HMV exclusive deal offered a free Cartman hat for pre-orders. The game's premise involves a comet strike on South Park, forcing players to save the town from anal-probing aliens, big evil clones, and of course, Terrence and Phillip. Screenshots show the game's 3D graphics, including a cow launcher and Cartman's iconic catchphrase. The ad also touts mega multiplayer action. Published by Acclaim, the game was available soon on both N64 and PC-CD, offering a nostalgic experience for fans of the show.